clearly we're still going to have to drive, sugar and all that, but let's keep the focus, which is on the ads. But anyway, that's what, so you guys got it. That's what we're dealing with. And let's go to work on, again, that 10% increase is essentially what we're looking for across the board, right? I will be diving into this document here in a bit. When it comes to sit rate, here's what you want to get is that people have the ability to commit to keeping an appointment if they perceive the value as great enough. I had introduced this to you guys some months back, which basically was like, hey, you guys remember the cost versus the value? As long as the value is higher than the cost, or the benefit, I should say, is higher than the cost, then somebody commits to the appointment and follows through. You guys remember those blocks? All right, so what's the cost of a phone consultation right now, team?
Time.
Just some time.
Yeah, and it's even shorter than normal. So it's actually, what, 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes, maybe an hour. I mean, it's not 2 hours like it was back in the day. Okay, so you're talking 30 minutes of time is the cost. That's it. You have to make sure that benefit outweighs the cost. So if the benefit is higher than the cost, we conclude that to be a value. If the benefit is lower than the cost, we view that to be invaluable, and therefore we'd rather have our time. And so our job during intro call is to add blocks of benefit so that it outweighs cost, the 30 minutes. You have to be very intentional about it when you do these intro calls. Right, very important, especially since it's a phone consult and it's really easy for people to blow you off. They could just choose not to pick up their phone. You going out to the house during like traditional direct sales when we're out and about in the field, if somebody forgets or whatever the case may be, quite often you show up, they're like, oh, okay, yeah, let's do it, because you're on their doorstep, thanks. You're on their doorstep ready to go. For a phone consultation, they just don't pick up their phone. Right. So like, it's really important that we do whatever it takes to make sure they perceive, again, the benefit of the phone consult in order for them to keep the appointment. So let's discuss really quick. What are some of the benefits of a phone consult, a solar sunrun in particular consult? And pardon me if you hear kids crying in the background.
Helping the environment.
Okay, so making a difference for the environment. Now, let's be careful it doesn't stray over to what are the benefits of going solar. Again, you want to focus on the benefits of the consult, right? And so, yes, indirectly, that for sure will lead to environmental benefits. But more than anything else, let me be specific. What are the benefits of somebody getting the information covered during a consult, whether they go solar or not? Better yet, let's assume they don't go solar. That way we keep our mind focused on the benefits of the phone consult and the information itself, right? So let's assume somebody doesn't go solar with you, what is the benefit of the phone consult nonetheless?
Educate the customer and pull referrals.
Yes. Big. I love that you said referrals there, Scott. So you have educating and informing the customer. Now you want to be very clear about that and say, okay, well, what do I cover during my phone consult? They learn how the utility bill works. They learn how NV Energy operates. They learn how all of this is connected and how it makes a difference for the environment. To Barbara's point, again, not because they're definitely going solar, because they at least are informed and therefore can influence their decisions and and all those things. I like that you talked about referrals, because even if they don't go solar, the value of the consultation is that they have information about our introduction program. And let's try to stay away from calling it referrals. And as of right now, it's still $350. I'm hearing that could go up. Either way, though, there's value in them knowing that we have an introduction program. They have the ability to introduce us to people. They have the ability to make some side income during tough times, right? So what else? What additional benefits of a Sunrun phone consultation?
Hey, Joe, this is Rick.
Hey, Rick.
Well, it sounds like with some new promotions coming up, they now could be a source to help family, friends, and coworkers who are struggling financially. And this might be an opportunity to use in our phone call where they could be a tremendous resource to help some of these friends and family members.
Perfect. And that's all make a difference for people you know. Appreciate that, Rick. Like that's really significant. That's part of this whole benefit. Something in particular you guys want to think about is what's the benefit of a Sunrun? What's the benefit of you guys, you personally, versus a local regional solar company, independent contractor that's been selling solar for 3 days?
You get the best in the business.
How so? Explain to me.
As America's largest and fastest growing residential solar company, we have the knowledge and expertise to guide you to the best product for you and your family or anybody else that you know.
Perfect. And that's the key. It's like, listen, Joanne, whether you go solar or not, you want to get the information from Sunrun from me. And here's why. You know, and you want, it's okay to toot your own horn a little bit. You can do it in a way that doesn't sound obnoxious, but it's like, Joanne, I'm really excited to cover the information with you. I've spent a long time studying about solar. And so the coolest thing is that you're going to learn about solar, whether you go solar or not, from Sunrun and a Sunrun trained person like myself. And it's really critical because there's a lot of misconceptions and misinformation out there. So I'm really eager to talk to you when we have our phone consult scheduled later today at 4 or tomorrow at 6. And make sure you're getting, you know, all the correct information, the best information. That way you can make an educated yes or no decision. So like you want to build yourself up because you largely are a big part of that benefit, right? That perceived benefit. And you got to communicate that to the customer, right? Okay, so hopefully you guys are getting this and you're really understanding, I get that. Other intentions, let's talk about the intentions of the intro call. And you've heard me say this before. And so what else are you looking to accomplish during an intro call? What needs to get accomplished during an intro call?
Figure out what the customer wants, right?
Go ahead.
Figure out what the customer wants. Like you were saying, you know, what are you looking to get out of this presentation?
Love that. And that's a critical, you have to ask that question during that intro call. Your beginning inquiry is what you're doing. And by that person answering it, they're getting present to the value of the phone consultation and the information. So, hey, Joanne, really, I'm out to make sure that the phone consultation is really valuable to you, whether you go solar or not. What's the biggest thing you want to get from it? Like, what do you have in mind that you like to learn? Okay, got it. Yeah, I'll definitely make sure I deliver on that and we cover that during the phone call itself. And if they can't articulate it, you should suggest to them what most people get out of it. Got it, Joanne. It's okay if you don't have something clear in your mind. Let me just tell you what most people get out of at least the phone consultation itself. And then you pitch it to them. It's a sales pitch is what you're doing, but you're selling them on the call. You're not selling them on solar during the intro call. Right, there's a difference. So if they are unable to articulate it, you need to tell, okay, I get it. No big deal, Joanne. Let me tell you what most people get from the phone consultation, which is why they're more than willing to invest a little bit of their time in learning about solar, especially from Sunrun. And then you go through and you promote the things that we're talking about or we have been talking about right now, right? Okay. What else gets accomplished? They're talking to you, hearing your voice during the intro call. So I'm kind of giving you guys a clue here. So what else gets accomplished?
You're keeping them engaged.
Yeah, engagement, but more importantly, engage with you. There's a rapport. There's rapport. Yeah, there's a level of relatedness and connection. I don't know about you, but I'm more likely to keep my commitments and appointments if I actually like the person that is benefiting from it as well. And so, like, it's okay for them to know you benefit. I mean, you're able to still work. That's something I promote heavily during times like this. And like, I'm clear with people. Joanne, hey, I just want to thank you in advance. You know, yeah, sure, this benefits you, but at the same time, it benefits me to be able to at least give you the information. It allows me to stay employed. I have no problem using a line. Let me say that again. Joanne, I'm really excited to make a difference for you, and I know this information is going to really be valuable to you, but I also just want to thank you for taking the time to do the phone consultation. It allows me to still be employed. The company salaries me, really just to inform people. And so thank you. It really means a lot to me and my family, you know, for you to devote a little bit of time to learn about solar.
Hey, Joe, just on kind of just piggybacking on that topic real quick.
Yeah.
Is just with the rapport building is when you get them on the phone, you let them know your name and where you're from and the company you're with. That makes those links much easier when you start that conversation. That their guard will go down a lot faster too, is what I've found, especially if you let them know where you're from. They're from Vegas as well. Sunrun, I've heard that name before. And then you let them know your personal name as well too. And then obviously if you can address them by their name, is super impactful. So.
Yep. Ultimately, during intro call, I should not know whether you're talking to your Aunt Teresa or a customer that just popped up in your calendar. Let me say that again. During your intro call, I shouldn't know whether you're talking to your aunt or somebody that just popped up in your calendar. What do I mean by that?
Your demeanor
Okay, be more specific.
means that you're being yourself. You're likable. They trust you. They already like you, and they don't even know you yet.
Bingo. And that's important. Like, I should not even know the difference. Hey, John. Yeah. Hi, this is Joe from Sunrun Solar. How you doing? I know things are a little chaotic right now. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. Do you have a quick minute or two? I just wanted to, ask you a question or two before we have our phone consultation. Okay, great. Well, here's what and then you go through it. What's the biggest thing you want to get from it? Okay, great. I'm so excited that you're going to hear about it from a Sunrun trained person because there's a lot of misinformation in the marketplace. People right now, Joanne, are really loving, at least learning, or I should say liking. They're liking learning about solar because it gives them a pathway to having certainty during these uncertain times, potentially. Now, whether you have solar or not, you're really going to appreciate the information and investing a little bit of your time. And so, again, what's the biggest thing you want to get? And if they don't know, here's the benefits of it. Got it. So like, I'm just kind of going off the cuff here a little bit. You guys need to follow the script and have like a locked in place. This is my intro call. This is what I do every time. And then you go from there. Okay, so we got rapport. We got the bit of inquiry, which allows them to be present to the value or the benefits, I should say, of the phone consult. You're going to communicate those benefit blocks. So that way they perceive it as valuable to me to devote energy to this, this session, etc. Now, the next thing to transition over to the intro call is making sure they're prepared for the phone consult. So what specifically do you need to increase? Now, I'm not saying begin selling. What resources or what structure do you need set up in order for you to be best prepared to close the deal with the phone consult?
Utility bill usage.
UB is a big one, right? And so hopefully you guys are using, like Antonia, thank you for that tip on that net metering phone call. I find that you can get right through to those people. Like, it's been pretty good as opposed to maybe the other phone number. So you guys use that number and it's like, hey, Joanne, while I got you on the phone here real quick, do you have a minute just to get your usage? That way, when we do have our phone consultation, it'll speed up the process. I can come to the consultation with the design, with the sizing, and I can really give you a shortened version of the consultation. Now, feel it out. If somebody's really strapped for time or they're in a rush, then I wouldn't do the usage right there on the spot. But if you can, do it, because now that person has increased their commitment level to sticking with the appointment. If I invest energy into something, even a little bit, I'm more inclined to see it through to completion because I've now invested in it. It's like putting money into something. I'm more likely to see it through. If I buy a soda versus somebody giving me a soda, I'm more inclined to drink the whole damn thing because I invested money in that soda. So, it's commitment account concept, what it's called, whatever you want to, promote it as. But our job during that intro call is to have them put some skin in the game, a little bit, so that way they're more inclined to follow this thing through. And so you get them on three-way call with NV Energy, and you get their usage right there, or you get them to connect their system to get usage, which that you actually probably should lead with that, get usage. If they take the time, or when they take the time to put in their username and password, again, that's the whole commitment thing, right? They've invested energy into making sure that you're set up powerfully to be able to deliver the goods. Okay, what else do you need for them to make sure it's an ideally set up phone consult?
That their spouse is present and they have a computer or tablet.
Bingo. Spouse present, computer, tablet. Okay, thanks, Rick. I think those are the big things. Anything else? Usage, spouse available, and then make sure they have internet connection or tablet or computer to be able to see your screen. Anything else you guys can think of?
Joe, I think it's important that they commit to the time frame. No distractions. Don't please, turn off your TV because what I have to share with you is very valuable.
Like that. Perfect. Again, that's all in spirit with setting, because ultimately you're setting up a stage. You're like an MC. You're setting up an environment conducive for a sale. Again, you're not selling during the intro call. You're just setting up a buying environment is what you're doing. And so you got to make sure you're taking the time to do that. Now, this is foreign for some of you because up till now, a lot of you guys have sent 3 words in a text and that's my intro call. No, you need to literally speak to them and do all these things we're talking about to elevate your sit rate. and elevate your sit to close rate. Okay.
Joe, I have a question.
Please go ahead.
So how many times do you think we should try to call them to do the intro call? Because I think the problem isn't when we get them on the line. Like, I haven't had one person say, no, they don't want the appointment anymore. It's more of they just don't answer the phone or customer miss. So I don't know if you can run a report to see how many customer missed appointments versus customer doesn't want appointments positions we've run into, because I totally agree with like everything you're saying, as if we can get them on the phone. My problem is I can't even get them to answer the phone.
So let's talk about that. Good call out. You would want to utilize a text message of some kind, but the text message can't be the intro call. The text message has to elicit a phone call back. Has to be interesting enough.
I've done that. Like, just to show best practices, and maybe you could give a suggestion, is I call them. If they don't answer, I text them. And then even like 30 minutes before the appointment, I try to call them again and remind them to, and then I send them the usage link. I do that like twice.
Yeah, so let's talk about to me, I wouldn't want to put too much in that text. Again, the goal of it is just to get them to call me back. Hey, Joanne, this is Joe from Sunrun. Can you just give me a quick call back? I really need like 30 seconds of your time before our consultation. I can't wait to, chat with you, or I'm glad you're taking a little bit of time to learn about solar. But please give me a call back. I mean, I'm off the cuff here so you guys can improve this a little bit. You don't want to do too much, but at the same time, you got to put yourself in their mind. What is going to cause me to call you back? There's got to be some element of time in there. Like, hey, just give me a quick call back. It literally will take like 30 seconds or a few seconds of your time. Just need to be able to, whatever, ask you a question, or, that way we're set up powerfully to be able to talk, when the time is, during our consultation or whatever. Anybody else can come? I'm off the cuff, so I want to shut that down. Anything else that's coming to your guys' mind that you can put into that text that will simply create a call back, not a text that will create attendance to the actual phone consultation? There's a difference.
Hey, Joe, it's Jeremy. When we get the promotion, I think we should promote that in the text if somebody's not calling you back, whatever that is. Hey, here's this is the Sunrun promotion, whatever it may be, in a quick thing. It's got to be something. What's in it for me, from the customer's perspective? We got to put our mind frame into theirs. They're scared right now, so it's got to be something of value to them, so to get them to respond.
Helpful. You guys get that? So what's in it for them? What's in it for them to call you back? Again, not what's in it for them to do the consultation. So the text message creates the phone call back. That then allows you to do the intro call. The intro call sets you up powerfully for the phone consultation. So kind of really think it through in this order, right? And do the double. Are you guys doing the double tap technique? You call somebody and then you hang up and call right back, like 5 seconds later. You guys all doing that?
Yeah, Joe, I've done that for one of mine, and they picked up.
Yep.
That's standard operating procedure. That's not even like I'll do it occasionally. Like 100% of the time, when you call somebody for an intro call, you hang up the phone if they don't pick up, and you call right back. That will elevate or increase the reached percentage, the reached for intro call percentages, right? And especially, again, with this whole phone consultation thing, like, you got to, at all costs, get them on the phone for a proper intro call. So do the double tap technique. After you do that, then you go over to a text message, and then you try again later, a few hours later, right? I mean, eventually I just want the person to call. If they really aren't interested, call me back. Say they're not interested in a consultation. At least that way I can speak to them for a quick second and make one last effort. Joanne, I totally get it. You're probably thinking I'm definitely not going to go solar. I can assure you there's value in at least getting the information. Plus, we have a wonderful introduction program where it's a way you can get some extra dollars in your pocket as well. So I get it. You probably have a lot juggling right now, a lot going on. But I can assure you, you won't be wasting your time at least completing a 15-minute phone consultation with me. And I give them the 15-minute rule, and then at the end of 15 minutes, I say, can I keep going? Because once I start talking to them during the consultation, the first few minutes buys you the next few minutes, then those few minutes buys you the next few minutes, and so on and so forth. And so that leads me to my next topic. Our next topic is, how do you deal with some common objections? As you guys all know, the sale is made on how many attempts? You guys have heard this before. When you're closing deals, how many attempts does it take on average to close a deal? Have you guys not heard this before?
10.
5 to 7.
7.
I've been trained on 3 to 5
1.
attempts. All right. So when it comes to okay, let me step back then a little bit. So the art of persuasion. When it comes to persuading people to do anything and inspiring them to do anything, they traditionally fall into 3 categories. They fall into a category of never being willing to being persuaded. That's about 20% of the percentage of the population, rather. So no matter what you do, it doesn't matter. That person will never be persuaded to do whatever it is you're attempting to get them to do. 20% of the time, they will always be persuaded, even if you're highly ineffective at your scripts and your pitches and what you're saying. They've already made up their mind that they're curious, they're inquisitive. They're like, all right, let's do it. Like, so I've shared this with you before, but like literally I could stand outside a grocery store and try to hand out free money and 20% of the population won't take it. I could also stand outside the door and like hand out something really stupid and dumb and 20% no matter what will take it. Now, the other remaining 60%, we call those people fence sitters. And ultimately, they can go on either side of the fence depending on the quality of your presentation. Again, this counts whatever it is you're trying to persuade people to do, forgetting about just like a phone consultation. We'll talk about anything in life. And so the first 20% buckets, we have no influence over. They're either going to be definitely persuaded or they're definitely not going to be on their own. The 60% of the population, however, we have direct influence over. Now, we want to understand is the psychology, the dynamic, the best practices necessary to sway 60% of the fence sitters on your side of the fence. And so here they are. Take note of it. You have confidence. What I mean by confidence is right expectation. So when I call somebody up during an intro call, I have the expectation that we're going to be doing the phone consultation. And so all of my words are consistent with that. Instead of going into the phone call thinking, I hope that this person doesn't cancel on me. If that's the case, and I'm hoping they don't cancel, I'm actually going to be using certain word choice that'll cause the cancellation. And so confidence is the first key to sway fence sitters on your side of the fence. By that, again, proper expectation. Enthusiasm is the next thing. Enthusiasm. What's your energy level like? Now, you got to be appropriate here with what's going on. I get that. But you still have to have that level of commitment and that level of enthusiasm and that right level of energy to communicate that exudes or communicates to this person, this is valuable to you. This phone consultation is going to be something you're going to want to partake in. I can assure you of that. And here's why. Right. So there's got to be that right level of energy transfer to get somebody to want to invest 30 minutes of their life with you. So you have confidence, you have enthusiasm. The next thing that sways fence sitters is how well you answer their questions in advance. So you really want to understand why we did the intro call, how we put it together. We thought of the questions the customer would have. So one of the questions is probably, is this going to be quick and easy? Would you guys agree with that?
Yes.
Yes, for sure.
Okay, so that's one question. Another question quite often is this person going to twist my arm and be annoying like a traditional cliche commission-only salesperson? You may not be aware of that, but that surely is up in their mind because people are raised to have this certain stigma connected to sales and salespeople. So that's another question that needs to get answered. See, now you want to turn it into more of a positive. So why is this going to be a low-pressure approach for me that's valuable to me? Hey, listen, Joanne, I'm just really excited to be able to still work and give you the information. The company salaries me to at least give you some beneficial information, whether you go solar or not. So I say that to them, not so that I'm definitely saying don't go solar, but I'm making sure I answer that question in advance, which is this person, are you going to be cool and not twist my arm like a knucklehead? All right. And so you go through these questions. Another one is just, why is this important to me? Why is this valuable to me? We've already thoroughly exhausted that and beaten that to death, right? And so the whole idea of how a script or a presentation is put together, a person just lists the questions a customer has in their mind and then crafts the script. And so the way to sway fence sitters, deal with their objections or their concerns before they come up. And that's why you say, listen, Joanne, what's great about, you might not say great, but hey, what's good about the tools that we're using is that we don't need to come over your home. We're doing everything remotely. And that's why you'll see there's some language in here about what we're doing a sun run with COVID and stuff like that to make sure it's safe and all of that, right? So again, long story short, deal with concerns, deal with objections before they come up. That way they never even pop up in the customer's mind, or even if they do a little bit, you've already dealt with it. And so that way you're good to go. You can then deal with it powerfully, okay? let's keep going down this path. You have confidence, you have enthusiasm, have how well you answer questions in advance. The next thing is trust and rapport. So people are more likely to be swayed on your side of the fence if they trust you and they have rapport with you, or you have a level of rapport. And we already, again, talked about that. The next thing is making multiple attempts, 2, 3, 4, 5 attempts. To me, that's the biggest thing. If you want to sway the 60% on your side of the fence, you're going to have to make multiple attempts. So if you do a proper intro call and then the customer's like, well, I'm not really sure. If you're like, okay, let me circle back with you next week or something like that, that's considered one attempt. If you operate that way, you're going to lose the 60%. You're going to end up with like a 20% sales rate. And by that, I mean selling people on the phone consultation. So what we're looking for is an 80% success rate, meaning 8 out of 10 people actually keep the phone call appointment. So if 2 out of 10 will always, no matter what, be persuaded, and then you sway the 6 out of 10 fence sitters, 6 plus 2 is clearly 8. So you're looking for an 80% follow through on the actual phone consultation itself. So you have to be willing to make multiple attempts. Here's some phone objections here. When a customer expresses concerns about COVID-19 during the intro call, clearly you guys should know how to handle that, right? At this point, everything we do is over the phone. What's really good is if you do choose to proceed, Joanne, our site audits can be done totally outside. Even our installations, like very small percentage of our installations need to do anything inside the house at all. And so literally what's nice is everything is outside. We're still viewed as like an essential, company by the state of Nevada. And we make it really super simple to keep you safe, but yet still allowing you to get the full benefits of learning about solar and potentially getting solar itself. What's another objection that you're going to get during the intro call, team?
They might be thinking, Joe, that solar's expensive. I still think that the public perception of solar out there is that it's a new bill or it's expensive, and we need to address that.
Okay, so if they say that, a great way to handle, Joanne, I totally hear you. You're probably thinking that you got to pay a lot of money out of pocket. What's so great, and by the way, we're getting ahead of ourselves, Joanne, if you do decide to go solar, we have no money out of pocket options and no deposit options. And so literally it won't interrupt your cash flow at all. And again, if we do end up going through with this new promo that we're talking about, it's even easier to promote it at that point. Now, you don't want to say definitely, like Joe, like I always say, if Joanne, we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves, because if you do go solar, again, what's great is we have no money out of pocket options. We have no deposit options, so it won't interrupt your cash flow at all. All you're simply looking into potentially doing is paying us less money than you're already paying NV Energy, which would be a net decrease in your monthly out of pocket. Again, be careful of how much selling you're doing during the intro call, but good point, Jeremy. It's good to go ahead and handle that perception now. Otherwise, they're less inclined to keep it through. You guys are missing one of the big ones. What's one of the big ones that somebody usually tells you during the intro call as a reason to reschedule the appointment?
Hey, Joe, just on that last topic there, what I said, like yesterday, I had what Jeremy is saying, that they're saying that was too expensive. I had told a lady yesterday, I'm like, well, a lot of people, have that preconceived notion that it is too expensive. And I just said, what I've been finding is I've been able to actually save people money with our different payment options. And she's like, okay, I'll hear you out then. And then I just said, but that'll be for a later time. As I said before, I want to respect your time. Like I said in the beginning of the call, and I just said, when would be a good time I can call you back? And that worked really good. So.
And I would even say maybe. I say, listen, Joanne, people only go solar if over time they spend less money with solar than they do NV Energy. So at least during the phone consultation, you'll be able to see if your house qualifies and all that, because it's really critical right now for you to spend less money on your electricity over time in order to be able to be fully prepared for some challenging times moving forward. And so I would say that with certainty, like people really only do go solar. Like, I don't know about you, but I've never met somebody who went solar that said, okay, yeah, cool, sign me up. I'm going to lose 20 grand in the next 10 years. So I'm okay leaning on that and being crystal clear that, hey, the only reason why you're going to go solar is if you're able to, over time, spend less on electricity with the solar system than you are with, NV Energy. Again, we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves. The consultation itself, I can assure you, will be valuable. And then you circle back to lock it down and firm it up. You guys got that? Another one is just busy. I'm busy in general. Even though, people are pretty much stuck in their houses, the way to deal with the I'm busy is to give them the 15-minute rule is what I usually do, the deal. I said, listen, Joanne, I get you're busy. I get you're juggling a bunch of things right now, me as well. It's really important though that you get the information as soon as possible, so that at least if you do choose to go solar, you can start to get the benefits of having control and certainty over your finances and electric bill. And so why don't I give you my 15-minute deal? If really after 15 minutes of the conversation, you're like, I'm just really not interested, that's fine. I can assure you though, during that 15 minutes, I'll cover a few things that are at least going to be somewhat interesting. So that way you're like, all right, at least I appreciate investing some energy there. Why don't we find a better time that works for you though? So that way for sure that you can benefit from the consult, and then that way I also can keep working. So guys, it's important to plug though. Hey, I can also keep, people are empathetic just back to you as well, because people don't want to see everybody get laid off and fired. People are more than ever before, we're coming together as a species, we're coming together as a community, we're coming together as Las Vegas. And so people are okay with you saying, hey, listen, I really need to get the appointment completed with you. It's going to be valuable to you, but I also, this way I can get compensated by the company, because again, I get salaried to, speak to a certain amount of people each week about this. It's okay to lean on that. Totally effective, totally useful. It works if you do that.
Hey, Joe.
Yes,
really quick on a little more specific detail of why there may be objection right now. We're hearing, hey, with everything going on right now, I just want to wait. I've lost my job or whatever, something specific like that. You're hearing that, and especially in Vegas, being the major employers being casinos. So we are hearing that. So what do you suggest there? It's very similar to what you just said, but that's what we're hearing.
For sure. So Joanne, I totally get you. I appreciate that. One thing to keep in mind is that we don't know whether you're going to qualify for solar or not. Let's at least get the phone consultation done. And that way you can get the information that can make it super short for you. If in fact you do decide to proceed, there's, again, no initial money out of pocket to get going. All you're going to be doing is paying for the electricity that you would have otherwise paid for. And so as long as you foresee yourself paying your current electric bill, you'll be able to switch those dollars over to your Sunrun system. But again, we're getting ahead of ourselves. That's going to be a few months from now if you do decide to proceed. Or you know what? Maybe you get the information, you decide to say, I'm in, but then you want to put your project on hold. That's okay as well. We can totally time it appropriately for you and what you're dealing with right now. So how about, and I don't pause after period. Okay, so how about we do it at 2? So Joanne, does 2 o'clock still work for you? You got to deal with the objection, but then you have to close it with a question of your own. So is 2 o'clock still good for you? That works for you and your husband? Okay, great. You can't answer the objection and then pause after a period. It's not going to work, everybody. Do you guys get that? Because what happens after if you do a really good job answering the objection, and then you pause after a period, what happens in that moment?
Well, they're going to move forward with something negative instead of.
Yep. Because they go up in their own head, right, Barb?
Right.
They go up in their own mind, and then they're still evaluating and criticizing and judging the whole scenario, and they're literally having a conversation with themselves, not with you. And then so you need to interrupt that, and you need to guide the conversation by asking them a question, because now their brain is focused on your question. Got it? Yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
I have 2 questions.
Sure.
One, I don't know how relevant this is. I've had a couple of people in the last couple of days say to me, hey, I'm waiting to see what's going on with these new federal funding, blah, blah, blah. Do you know, is there stuff going on that I'm not aware of?
I'm not really sure the impact that would even have. I mean, bottom line is there's bailouts for small companies. Sunrun's not going to fall into that category, and then people are going to get cut checks, which means they have even more money to spend. And so, I think all of that is fine. If that's being discussed during the intro call, again, you got to use the line, Joanne, we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves. We don't even know if your home's going to qualify for solar. If it does qualify, the only way you'd actually go solar is by being able to spend less than what you're really currently spending with NV Energy. Because we're going to lean pretty heavy on the PPAs. When you guys agree, the 10 cents, 2.5 escalator.
Yes.
Yeah. So if that's the case, then 10 cents is definitely lower than 11.5 cents with NV Energy. So you could say, Joanne, we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves. Let's first see if your home qualifies. In terms of federal dollars, this and the other thing, I know people are set up to get money from the government, but ultimately, if you foresee yourself being able to pay your electric bill, just pay Sunrun instead of NV Energy and pay at a lower rate than you're currently paying right now. That's the beautiful thing about diving in with no deposit, no money down, because these bills are going to be something you would be paying anyway, but the benefit of this is that you can pay less. But again, Joanne, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's just do the quick phone consultation, give you the information, get the clear things. I'll make it easy for you to say yes or no. But at the very least, I can assure you that the consultation will be valuable for you. So Joanne, does 2 o'clock still work for you, or would 4 o'clock be better for us to do a quick 15-minute, consultation over the phone? What are there?
I have another question, Joe.
Sure.
A little bit different. What's your suggestion for a customer that doesn't have access to a computer when we're doing our intro call?
I would still do the consultation. I mean, something's better than nothing. I mean, you got to find out the reason why. If they're like, well, I don't have a computer, tablet, or Wi-Fi, then it's like, okay, well, let's just talk about it over the phone. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I've just had a couple of older people whether, I mean, basically what I did was just discuss it over the phone and then email, the proposal and numbers. But I was just curious if, you had a.
Better than nothing. That's better than nothing. If they really can't access a website, then I would say that approach is better than not. I mean, you have to really be heavily say, hey, Joanne, what specifically will it take for you to be a yes? What exactly are you looking for? Because I don't have my screen to show you, but I can send in an email the exact things that you're looking for to make an educated decision. And so you want to super simplify it, right? In that case, and then just make sure you find out exactly what it takes for them to be a yes or exactly what it would take for them to be a definite no. And then that way you can kind of package it together in that email. And then you can potentially say, okay, when you open your email, Joanne, I want to read through the email and just take screenshots and plug it in the email.
Got it.
All right, what else you guys got for me?
Hey, Joe, this is Rick.
Yeah.
2 things that I think might help. One, I don't know what the answer is, but to touch base with Jackie, out of 7 new appointments that I was giving early this week, 4 of them either canceled or just flat didn't answer, and still I can't reach them. So there's nothing I can do about that, at least very little. Mm-hmm. I did send a handwritten note to one of these people that wouldn't respond to me, and he actually called me because of that handwritten note. So that does help a little bit down the road. But on the intro call, to your point, I was able to save an appointment yesterday because they were freaked out about what's going on and they're about to lose their job. So I just kept it short and sweet and said, I'm not here to talk about the purchase of solar. Purpose of our call tomorrow is simply to see if I can get you qualified to lower your power cost. Right now, we're finding families across America are looking for ways to cut every expense they can. And Sunrun, as America's largest residential solar company, we're doing our very best to help every family we can lower their monthly costs. On top of that, we have a little stimulus incentive to help you up front get through some of these challenging times. So our call tomorrow should take less than 15 minutes. If I can get you qualified on that program, great. And if you still have interest in the purchase, we can certainly talk about that as well. So tomorrow at 12 o'clock, I'll be right on time. 5 minutes prior, I'll send you your link that you can see my screen, and we'll have 15 minutes to get you qualified.
Love it. Hey, guys, this is being recorded. That needs to be, you guys literally need to play back what Rick just said and script it. Like any 1 or 2 liner that you like during this video, like we can't just sit back and be like, that was awesome, and then not be able to emulate it. Thank you, Rick, for that. So like, that's the beauty of it. Hopefully I'm still recording. Okay. All right. But like, that's money. I love that you pulled it away from purchase over to, save money on electric bill. And that's critical right now. And you're speaking to their exact emotional state, their mindset, what's going on right now. And you're, again, firming up the appointment and making sure that, you're just guiding them through the process and giving them, all the reasons why it's still okay to stick to the appointment and it makes sense to do it. Thank you for that, Rick. Anything else? Team, I guess we did use up more time than we thought, but hopefully this was valuable to you.
That was super money on what Rick just said. People are calling, other companies are calling us right now telling, hey, let me help. We need to take that approach. We're here to help because that's what they're thinking. That's
got to be we lean on that. And then the last part of it is firming up the time, making sure they have it in their calendar, that sort of thing. Making sure they lock it down. Don't take that for granted. Be like, well, whatever, Joe. It's tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Do I really have to go out of my way to make sure they have it locked in their calendar? Yes, you do. Especially with it being a phone consultation. Again, think about the percentage of times you show up at somebody's house, they forgot you were coming, and they're like, oh, okay, let's do this. You don't have that ability over the phone, everybody. Okay. So you got to make sure, don't take that for granted. Lock it down. Hey, Joanne, let's just, while I still got you on the phone, let's make sure that's in your calendar. So tomorrow at 8 o'clock, tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Can't wait to talk to you and make sure, again, this, and this are the things you wanted to learn. I can't wait to review that with you. And it's just going to be very rewarding. I thank you in advance again. Number one, you're going to benefit. And then number two, I get to still work for the company that I really appreciate. I appreciate it all. Thank you again. Talk to you tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. I thank them for it, even though it's mutually beneficial, because that's another reason why somebody commits to an appointment, especially if you have rapport. If they know that they're going to be able to make a difference for another human being, they're more inclined to stick to the appointment. So for years of all the appointment setting that I did, my own appointments, I'd always firm it up by saying, hey, I just want to thank you in advance. This really makes a difference for me. And equally so, sure, it'll make a difference for you. But again, it does make a difference for me as well. And so I say that to somebody because they're more inclined to see it through and stick it through and get the appointment taken care of, because they know that it's not just them that they're impacting. They're impacting other people, namely you, in this equation. All right, so summing this all up, team, really focus on the benefits outweighing the costs. Be clear on that. Understand the intentions of the phone intro call. Be experimental, proactive with the text message to generate the callback so you can then do an intro call. Remember that the purpose of the intro call is not to sell them on solar, just to sell them on the phone consultation. And again, the art of persuasion, 20% always, 20% never. And then you got your fence sitters. Be aware, again, of the things I gave you to deal with the fence sitters to get them on your side of the fence. And so let's go to work. Let's drive up our sit rate by at least 10%. Which again would give us at least 26 extra sits. I think we can go even higher than that. I think we could take it to 15% higher. And so that way we're definitely going to get in front of people, that sort of thing. Thank you for everything you guys are doing. I love that you guys are going through the learning curve and you're accelerating it with phone consultations and open queue calls and all of that. By the way, come Friday, we're going to be redirecting all the advisor queue, inside queue into open queue. We're also going to be kicking any stage 11s that are currently owned by reps. We're going to kick those into open queue as well. All right, so if you've been kind of like looking at your stage 11s thinking, well, let me potentially get around to calling these people, just as a heads up, stage 11s, because they were closed, lost by you, we're going to be shifting those into open queue as well. So the only ones that will stay in your name are sugars, and then company opties that are in stage 1 to basically you're the owner of it other than stage 11. Does everybody get that?
Yep.
Okay. All right, team. Thank you for your time. Let's get to work. Let's try. Let's win the day. 4 sales a day is the mission. Minimum, minimum, minimum. Go make a difference for people, team. Use the 1 or 2 liners you learned today. See you guys.